Hi folks, and welcome to today's video, shorten your herniated disc recovery time. Now, I do make a lot of good content for those folks out there suffering with such things as herniated bulging discs, sciatica nerve pain, lumbar stenosis, lumbar arthritis. If that is you, hit that subscribe button. You're going to be notified when I make some great new content to get you guys back on the road to recovery. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So folks, today I want to talk about how to shorten your recovery time by doing 4 simple things if you're out there suffering from a bulging herniated lumbar disc. Now, if you've just come to this channel today, I would say subscribe, okay? I make a lot of great content for those folks out there suffering with low back pain issues. And today I'm going to talk about 4 simple things that you can do if you've just been diagnosed with a lumbar herniated disc, okay? Now, my channel is called Bash Back Pain, and I'm trying to bash that back pain away. However, the BASH is actually an acronym for 4 super important things that everyone should do when you've just been diagnosed with a lumbar herniated disc. They're going to help shorten your recovery, okay? Why? When we have a bulging or herniated disc, lumbar disc, the material has pushed out quite often against the nerve. You may have back pain, you may have sciatica nerve pain down one leg, both legs, left or right, and it causes a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort, and it affects your daily activities, even just getting out of a chair, walking, working, driving, etc. You need to change how you move your body, okay, into a much more protective way to help take pressure off that disc so the disc and tissues can heal to the best of their ability. If you keep picking at the scab, you keep exacerbating the injury, I'm going to get into more of that in just a little bit, then you will prolong your injury time, okay? So here's 4 things you must be doing if you've just been diagnosed with a lumbar herniated disc. And it is B. First up, the B from BASH is going to be bracing, okay? Now, bracing, it's not braces, okay? Bracing is how you basically brace, stabilize your body before you do a movement which requires some power, some strength, all right? So normally we'll walk up, maybe we're going to pick this object up off your counter, maybe some shopping, perhaps. You'll just pick it up and go, okay? And you won't think about it. However, when you've got a back injury, a lumbar herniated disc, etc., you need to be more mindful. So a brace is where you literally go, huh, as if somebody's going to push you or punch you in the stomach. You prepare for that blow, and you kind of you close off your throat there, making it. You don't need to make the noise, right? You close off that throat, and you hold that stomach nice and tight, and then you can basically support your whole body, your back, etc. When you're going to move large objects, pick up large objects, etc., move a chair, do vacuuming perhaps, and you're suffering from this injury, I want you to brace before moving into that particular movement, okay? So I'm going up here, I'm going to lift this, I'm going to brace my abs, okay, hold them tight, take the object, okay, hip hinge, I'll talk about that very soon, place the object down. Learning to brace is super important. It's going to help protect your spine from further damaging of the disc, okay, when you're in these early stages of the injury. So, number 1 is the B from BASH, bracing. Number 2 is the A from BASH, and that is avoiding flexion before noon. Now, I'm going to put a couple of references down in the description down below, because this has been referenced in the literature. Avoiding flexion before noon, essentially what the researchers did was they looked at people who had back pain issues, and they implemented a very simple strategy of avoiding flexion, okay, which is the spinal flexion forward here, like so, for the first 4 hours of the day. Now, they implemented it for 12 weeks. They did follow up at that time. They did follow up 18 months later as well. People had significantly reduced back pain and also pain intensity. And it's something I recommend, especially if it's in the early stages of the injury, that people do implement for the first generally 6 to 8 weeks of the injury, okay? We do want to bring flexion back in at some point, okay? It is a natural movement of the spine, but in those early days, you want to try to protect the spine, the disc from herniating further. You want to practice good posture, and essentially it is for the first 4 hours of the day. It is, you're not bending down to put your shoes on, you're not bending and twisting to pick up, coffee cups, etc. You're making a conscious effort to stay with a nice neutral spine with no flexion. Yes, I know it can be difficult if you have to drive, for example, but that's where rolled up towels come in handy, in at your lower back there, and you can essentially make as much possible as you can a sort of spine neutral position. Okay, you don't want to be slumped in a deep chair. So again, it could be altering your office chair, doing some towels in your car perhaps, and just avoiding flexing forward during that day. And I'm going to show you something else in just a second about putting your shoes on, okay? So A is avoiding flexion before noon. Now, S is going to be number 3, is support. Use support. Now, family support is great, somebody to help you through the psychological problems that can arise sometimes from that back pain issue, but I'm talking about support, okay? If I go to brush my teeth in the morning, and here's the sink here, if I just lean over, again, I'm flexing, okay? However, if I choose to do what's called a hip hinge, come on to that in a second, then I put my hand on the sink, I can take the weight of my upper body on my hand and brush my teeth. This also gives the muscles in my back a chance to relax. They're not constantly rigid, okay? So using support. Another good example, if I'm going to, this hip hinge here for you guys, put my shoes on. Now traditionally I may have just bent over, flex forward. However, I'm going to use support. I've got a small stool behind me here, okay? I've got my shoes on top of this little bench here, or taking my shoes off, bring my foot up here, try to keep the spine as straight as possible. I can put my shoes on, I'm not flexing down. So I'm using support, okay? Getting in and out of chairs, use the arm, don't try to throw yourself forward, okay? Use your arms to help push you up. So using support is super important when you're in the early stages of this injury, okay? You want to use as much support as you can physically to help take the load off of the spine. So number 3, the S is support. Now, number 4 of the BASH methodology, and in my acronym, is the H, and that is for hip hinging. Now, I've just talked about it a few minutes ago as well briefly. Hip hinging is essentially where we hinge the hips backwards, keep a neutral spine. I push the hips backwards, small bend at my knees, and this is when I want to lift up implements close to me. I want to practice hip hinging. When I go to sit in a chair, I want to hip hinge, stick my bum back, I'm going into a squat, and I can sit down. Come out of it, same thing, forward and come up, okay? As I said, if you're at the sink in the morning, brushing your teeth, okay? I don't just want to flex over, I do a small hip hinge, hand for support, here. And technically I could be bracing with my hand at the same time. You call it bracing or support. So I'm using all 4, okay, of my BASH acronym, bracing, avoiding flexion before noon, support, and hip hinging to basically get me through the day. It's going to put in place your spine in a good, safe position to carry out various activities you need to do, because I know you can't just be lying in bed, you got to go to work, etc. And hip hinging, if you do have to pick things up off the floor, okay, we use this box as an example. Again, we're not bending down, flexing the spine. We get as close to the box as possible. I hinge my hips, nice neutral spine. I come down, chest up, take the box, use my legs and hips, and up, okay? Get close to the object where I'm going to place it, and down. Those 4 implementation activities I request is what I request from all of my clients I work with. Because it basically, you can have the best physiotherapy program in the world, okay? But if you're going home and you're not implementing good spine hygiene practice by bracing, avoiding flexion, using support, hip hinging, you're going to undo all of the good work you're doing in physiotherapy. So I really hammer it home to my clients to put the BASH methodology into play, yeah? It is going to help reduce your healing time and get you back healthier faster, all right? Now guys, listen, if you are out there suffering with your own back pain issues, sciatica nerve pain, lumbar stenosis, etc., I do offer a free advice call. The link is down below in the description. You can sign up there. It's a 45-minute call. I give you guys some advice if you are struggling with your own problems and you need some sort of support, guidance to get you that next step on the recovery journey. I am here to help. All right, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.